shoes, no cap, and I've been faded for shackles, but cut them flowers too. Is this real or a dream? Can you love if you thief? Stolen valor in the mirror, now they facing these things. You got no bottoms and lows, free falling for stories. In the grave before you drop, and that's the Lord is my witness. This ain't no love to be equal. Tell them shit is so evil. I'm a martyr, don't
Hello,
believe
everybody.
in this
Welcome to
world.
Sound Collision Radio. I'm here with Gordo Sanchez. A lot of people know him from the Gordo verse. He is an artist, a rap artist, out in Phoenix, Arizona, right?
Yes, sir. Repping for the Big AZ.
All right. It's good to have you on board.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, so I just got some questions for you, so we could get people to gravitate towards your music, and see some changes happening with your audience and the growth, because you've been working hard. I know you've been working hard. I've been seeing it all online.
Yes, sir.
We want to make sure people can see that. So I'll just be asking some questions, give people a chance to get to know you. Yeah, all right?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
All right. So let's start with the main thing, okay? Everybody who is in music has like a direction or some story how they even got into it. There's people
Right.
like I had a guy, I had Grife on last night, and he got into music and had no clue what he was doing in the beginning. You know what I mean? And that's
Man.
the story considering where he's at now. So how did you get into music, and how was the start for it?
Yeah, bro. So like when it comes to music, though, this has kind of always been a part of my life. Since I was growing up, my dad was first of all, my dad was a musician as well. He was an artist, he was an MC. All my uncles, all my family, they were all into music, doing back when the breakdancing era was popping off and there were breakdance battles, DJ
Yeah.
battles. So I grew up around that in the 90s time, bro. So that kind of always stuck with me. So like growing up, also part of music too. Growing up, we were really poor. You know what I mean? We had a lot of problems and stuff growing up, but we always had music. You know what I'm saying? So even though we didn't have much, our house was probably empty or whatever, or the hood was popping off. We always had the hottest mix. We was always dancing in the house, always bumping music, and so I found to connect to the music to escape from what's going on and stuff. And ever since I was growing up, I didn't really take it that serious, though. To be honest with you, I didn't take it that serious or recognize that was my calling right away.
Okay.
I kind of like ignored it because when I was growing up, I thought like, oh, that stuff's whack. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, everybody's doing it, but that's played out. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's played out. All my peoples is not listening to that. We run in the streets, bumping hip hop, bumping Easy E, Ice Cube, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's how I started.
Yeah, and so I was like, man, so like, time was passing on. I started running the streets a little bit, started having fun, partying, going out and things like that with the homies. And we found ourselves kicking back, always being lit, you know what I mean? And then we always was freestyling, kicking off freestyles all night, bro, just all night,
All
just
night.
doing nothing, doing stupid stuff and freestyling. And then next thing you know, there was like, man, you're pretty dope. Like you should probably make some songs and stuff. So we just kept doing that. Eventually I ended up going to jail, whatever. I got out of jail. Then I started taking stuff seriously more toward like end of high school, toward my college era. I started taking things more and more seriously. That's why I started getting into studying music, recording the craft, learning software. Because I started in the closet, bro. I was in the closet with my primo. My primo would be producing beats. I
Oh,
was in the
yeah.
closet.
No professional studio. It does.
Nah, not at all. We started from the bottom, but at the same time, just because I started taking it seriously as I was older, I would always been like, behind the scenes, recording on my phone, writing in my notepad, just doing things at a random because that was an expression to me more than before I even decided to make music, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how I got into music, bro. And then I just started learning as I went, just like you were saying about Greek, learning as I went, bro. I started getting interested into it. The signs were aligning, everybody was coming from left to right, everything was just making sense, and so I kind of got stuck here, and now I love it. I love to be in this zone.
Yeah, that's the best part, man. I mean, losing yourself in music is an
Yeah,
amazing thing, because some people have poetry, but poetry or some other
yeah,
thing
that too.
they get attached to that just relieves stress and everything like that. And for music, this is it. Like this, you can express yourself and just vibe to it at the same time, especially if you
Right,
record it, you know.
right.
So that's awesome, So like collaborations. Like I know you and I have collaborated, of course, a couple times. I know there's some future plans, and let's talk about some artists that you would like to collaborate with. Like who inspires you? Tell me more about that
Okay.
kind of stuff.
Well, when it comes to inspirations, like if you're talking about like who did I pick up off more, I would say like as far as legendary KRS-One, Rakim,
Okay,
Gangstar, things like that. You know what I mean? Snow Goons.
nice.
If you know most of the underground type of things, but as far as out here, I've been networking with a lot of people. You know, ever since I started coming up in Arizona with the music. Salute to Open Mind, salute to Ritual, salute to Yasin, salute to Conquest, salute Daz Exotic, J Life, Milk. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can go on forever, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, man. So a lot of people are dope out here, bro. To be honest, I choose to go more for what the spiritual sense of things will align. Like, you know, because people send me music all day and they want to work, but not everybody gets to work, if that makes sense. Not
yeah.
everybody gets to work because it has to feel right before I can do anything. Otherwise, I ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
Okay.
And that's how I function. But out here, J Hound is dope. Salute to J Hound. He's out here working hard. He's a real MC out here. Always been a fan of the craft. That's one person I would like to work with. Somebody else out here who's dope. Pyro AZ&B. I would like to work with him, but he's not really on the artist stance anymore. He's more of the music video production thing.
Oh,
But he's really big with it. No, you know, what I mean, he's grown. I seen his path growing from when he started rapping and dropping CDs. Salute to Patron and Perico. But yes, sir.
all right. Yeah, so it sounds like his music path took him somewhere else, kind of like what's happening to me right now.
Bro, and that's what's happened to me too, man. I found myself into the I started recording, but now I'm more into the mixing and mastering. I also
Yeah,
ventured into the beat making with the MPC and things like that, but it's just taking me all over the place.
yeah, yeah. And it's not bad because what it's doing, it's just building your knowledge for music right now.
Right.
Mhm.
And nothing wrong with that. Yeah, definitely. If you're out there listening and you're watching and you're an artist or musician or someone interested, don't be scared to learn, study what you don't know. I mean, I know you always got to pay for something you don't know, but also don't be scared to venture in to pick up that knowledge. You know what I mean?
Or even ask for help. That's something Charlie Haley said. Don't be
That
afraid
too.
to ask people for help. And I think that's a number one spot that a lot of people mess up in. They want to do
Mm,
everything on their own by themselves. Like they take the word
man, so
independent
true.
too heavily. You know what I mean? And he
So
called
true.
it gatekeeping. That's where like people want to compete with you. So they don't want to work with you because they want to be
Yeah.
better than you. And it's just like that doesn't work. If you look around, even some of your, some favorite artists, they had collabed
Right.
with other people. And that's just networking and working together. But to see that on a bigger scale would
Yeah. Right.
even better because if you think about like features, okay, so if you feature somebody and they end up being a bigger name and people fall in love with it because they like your music, they like the other person's music. Just imagine if there were more people doing that and
That's right.
more artists on a track. So if you go on YouTube, you could probably look up, like, let's say, for example, Eminem. Everybody has somebody they would like him to do a song with. So you'll have like these people that will do mixes and take a verse off of, I don't know, NF's song, Eminem's song,
Right.
and clash them all together on a different beat. And then everybody falls in love with it, even though it's not a real track. So just if people are going to that length to do something like that, because they want to hear it. Just imagine
Hmm.
if we were able to accomplish that um, without it being fake.
Right, right. Yeah, that'll be crazy. And some people out here are really doing that. And then you said a big thing about the gatekeepers. Now they say Arizona has a lot of gatekeepers,
Okay.
but I don't think there's a lot of gatekeepers out here. As far as Arizona, yeah, there's people in high places, but I personally, I think your hard work should speak for itself. If it don't enter into a room that you think you belong in, then maybe you don't belong in that zone. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's important to work with others.
Right,
I don't think we're supposed to be working by ourselves the way people are doing it right now. I think it's
right.
actually damaging their careers. A lot of them.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, because nobody wants to nobody wants to look at you, and as soon as they um, get the idea that you're a diva, they don't want nothing to do with
Yeah,
you anymore. You know what I mean?
that's right. That's right.
So, yeah, it's important not to gatekeep.
Hmm.
Um,
And to help people with no intentions, that's also great too. If you're moving out there, you know what I mean. Be authentic, like we're doing now, and then be genuine, and it gets you in more places you ever fucking think of.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then so right now I know you had some work already done. You've had quite a few tracks come out. You had a couple albums. You just had an album come out recently, didn't you?
Yeah, sir. The Gordiverse was the recent album. We are working on an EP right now. Still coming up with the name of it, but it's gonna be about life situations,
Okay.
stressful things, things of that nature.
Yeah, and I think it's good. So it's great to write uplifting songs. There's a lot of clubbing songs out there. There's a lot of party songs and everything, but that's for me that's temporary. So like the fact that you're
Mhm.
gonna go the direction of life, I think it's an important thing for people to latch onto because given today's society, the economy, everything. If more people had something like that to latch onto, that's hope that you could be providing because I think most people, even though as a society we're all struggling, people
Right.
feel alone. You know what I mean? So to have music like that out there they can latch onto, it's gonna make them feel less alone.
I agree, and that's how you get through life, man. And music is a coping mechanism.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you got any future events, any future projects going?
Yeah, I mean, as far as future events and future projects, right now, we're in the mix of mixing up an album and an EP for J Life. So
Okay.
don't forget about J Life every day. We also got RG every day. We're cooking up an album for him. And in August, out here in Arizona, their whole squad is coming on a tour featuring Daz Exotic, aka Brandon Beck. They're coming out here. Hopefully, we'll be able to perform at the show right there in August, 2-day festival tour, and we're looking forward to see what happens there.
All right, awesome. That sounds cool already. How's
Yes, sir.
how's your so I know I got a couple of your shirts. So how's the merch business going? Like you got
It's
designs coming out, any how's everything going with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with the people out there too. Right now, it ain't really moving much at this time, but that's only because we're getting ready to, take it back, re-upgrade, and move forward.
Okay.
But besides that, everything's doing all right. I mean, we still moving. We still got the merch. We still got this. We still got the Gordoverse album. Anybody out there who need the album, we got them on right now for 14.99 special. Let me know.
Okay, awesome. Yep, I already got my copy, so
Yes, sir.
that's
But yeah, that's it, man. The I ain't tripping off of nothing album. So there was a Gordoverse and there's the I ain't tripping off of nothing album.
okay. Okay. Now shows. Have you done any live events?
Yes, I've done live events. I've even traveled before. I've been to the Arizona Hip Hop Festival, one of the biggest festivals out here ever to be thrown by underground artists, indie. You know what I mean? Salute to
Yeah.
Justice out there, RTU. So yeah, I done the hip hop festival. I kind of was going to do some more shows, but as I was going and learning, I done Manos too out here, a couple bars, things like that. But I've learned, some of the scenes are not what they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? But also, from that point, I've traveled even across the state. I've been to California with Smoke Nation Worldwide. Salute to the homie Space Nasty. If you're seeing this, salute Smoke Nation Worldwide. I've also been out there with Mr. Black. We opened up for SGV Riders out there in California. If you don't know who SGV Riders is, definitely check them out. Dope California artist. We did a show out there for them in Big Bear Lake, bro. It was one of the best shows I ever done.
Really?
Ever done. Yes, sir.
So on the festivals and stuff like that, since it's a hip hop festival, you get any run-ins with any popular names or anything like that while you were there?
The person who was headlining that day was Snoopy Badass. If you guys know who Snoopy Badass, but he's all right. Besides that, I mean, it was just the Arizona legends. You know what I mean? All the Arizona people out here. CEO Yante was performing. Who else was out here? Oh, I did meet. Oh man, sorry, I can't forget. I can't remember his name right now. I can't even think. But I did meet a lot of cool people out here, bro. We were networking and everything, man.
Okay, that's good. It's good. Make those contacts. Start piling it up.
Yeah,
And then like recording. So, everybody's got their own like style of how they do things, and I think that's what makes the artist. Because
right.
it's in the word itself. You found a form, an art form of how to do your music. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how how do you go about writing your music? Recording your music. What's your process like?
Man, I'm all over the place, bro. To be honest, I'm all over the place. I could write songs while I'm working. While I'm at work, in between calls, I would like listen to a beat, write one verse, come back to it 5 hours later, pick up where I left off, write it on the computer. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, the process is I try to sit there and focus, but it don't really work that way for me. I can't sit there at the computer and just like listen to the beat over and over again and then just start going. You know what I mean? This kind of, it has to catch. If it don't catch, then my pen is not going to flow fluently. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And I like to be fluent when I write. That way, it's not pieced. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And I don't know if a lot of artists have that problem, but that's definitely something I do. I'm all over the place, bro. Sporadic.
Okay. Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. If you're able to write stuff down,
Yeah.
5 hours later jump back into it, that's a talent. Because a lot of people they got to stick to it for a period of time, write the whole song or do whatever. I know I'm like that a lot of the time. I got to write everything out, and it could take me an hour, 2 hours. The shortest time could take me 15 minutes to write a whole song. It just depends on the energy at the moment. But like
Yeah. And
9 out of 10 times, if you're listening to a beat and you had it on loop for 2 to 3 hours, sometimes it's easy to get sick of it and not be able to
yeah.
come back.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, bro. And that's the one thing where I was talking about in the beginning, like, the beat, you have to feel it because I think the beat talks to you, bro. Like when you hear a beat and then you start to get a hook and you start to get the verse and how you're gonna come in and things like that.
Yeah,
That's the beat's way of telling you what you need to say, but you can kind of hear that low key throughout the rhythm and the melody
yeah.
of the beat. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I see it. So it kind of speaks to me in a way, I would like to say.
Okay, okay, I get it. Yeah, that's the way I feel. A lot of times. So obviously, you know who Freak is. The majority
Hmm.
of the time, I network with him through email and stuff, and I'll get he's a really amazing beat artist. So when I get his stuff and then I play it immediately, it's quick. It's like
Right.
majority of the time he gets the artist to do the hook and then it goes from there. So automatically it aligns the subject. And there's times where the subject is supposed to be something else, but then you're listening to it and you'll get a whole totally different idea that just throws people in a different direction. They're like, wait a minute, I thought this song was going to be like this, but now he's
Yeah.
talking about this. Like, I think, being able to do stuff like that is awesome. So I run into that issue though, where I'll over listen to a beat too much. So I got probably 5,000 beats that I have not used because, and then there's times where I've had the beat for 3 years and then, it could be like tomorrow I'll listen to the beat and all of a sudden now I got a whole song.
Right, right, right. That's how it happens, bro. Exactly.
Yeah. So do you have yourself, obviously, I mean, being an independent artist, it's difficult to always jump and get into a professional studio because it's expensive. We know it's
Right,
expensive for a lot of people, and all of us work jobs. So
right.
how did you set yourself up with a personal space where you could comfortably go and record? Like how'd that go for you?
Well, you're talking about like from when I first started. I mean, obviously, like I said, I started on the phone. From there,
Yeah,
I did tend to look into the studio recording things, but I saw people were charging, let's just say they were charging what I couldn't afford, and then at that point, I took it upon myself, like, man, I need to learn this stuff, and that's why I started piecing equipment. I bought the speakers first.
yeah,
Uh, A month later, I bought the freaking audio box. A month later, I bought the MPC. A month later, I got the computer, and then a month later, I got the software. And then it just over time, I had everything, you
Wow.
know.
Okay.
But it took a lot though, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So you got a space set up for yourself now, like a nice, good area.
Yeah, I got a decent little studio set up right here. You know,
Yeah.
everything basic.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you gotta start somewhere. You know what I mean? And you don't know
Mhm.
where just investing in something, piece by piece like that. You don't know where it's gonna get you.
Yeah, and this is my third studio setup to be exact. Like, you know what I mean? From things breaking,
Yeah,
moving out, moving in, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Stuff happens.
Because I mean, even when you and I have done a couple tracks together, and then listening to some of your stuff, okay. Um, the crazy part is, I've seen like on social media, somebody will share like a little setup in a corner of their apartment or something. They got some
Right.
padding, they put some, a few lights and some speakers, computer, everything they need to make a song. And then there's people all in the comments like just trashing them. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did you even listen to it before you knocked this guy? Because like with you, like with me, I mean, I started
Right.
in a garden shed, man.
Man. And I've been watching you build that whole studio for a year, bro. Like,
I
it's been a while.
I built the shed inside as a sound booth. So now, like, if you come from outside, it looks like you went back outside because I got
Wow.
astroturf on the floor, and everything like that. I just wanted to give that image, but I mean, it does not matter what your setup is like.
Right.
What matters is what you're creating in that. You know what I mean? And
100.
so, like, even you, man, if you're sitting there sometimes and like doubting it for a moment, like, man, I need something better. Just go back, listen to what you already did.
No, that's a good tip right there, bro. Because sometimes I do get in that feeling, to be honest. You know what I mean? Sometimes I even feel like giving up. Sometimes, but you can't quit when it's
Yeah,
inside of you. When it's just destiny.
yeah,
You're always gonna find your way back to what you're supposed to do. You know.
yeah. Because if you go back to when you first started, like, if you have any recordings, anything from what you recorded before what you have now, go back there,
Yes.
listen to that, then listen to what you have with what you got right now. It, you made it that far,
Right.
and you don't want it to be for nothing. You know?
That's right. That's right. And everybody listening out there who feels that way, remember that. Remember that. There's always you're at where you always wanted to be. Remember that.
Yeah. And I don't know. I find it terrible, man. I run into that. I'll see it because there's this page. I think it's called Studios something, and it's people just putting out their all their studio designs that they have in their home.
Hmm.
It's little corners, everything, basements, you name it, a closet, and I just see people in the comments like knocking it. But then I see support too. Like, man, that doesn't even matter. Like, just
Right.
be comfortable, have fun,
That's right.
enjoy it. You know.
It's about the tools. It's about the tools, and if you know how to use your tools, you'll be great. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. And it's gotten easier. It's gotten easier to do music, obviously, you know. Things have hit that digital age. We don't have to rush to wait for people to hear it. People can listen to it, quickly and respond to it quickly compared to the past and the pioneers. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah. Thank God.
it's a blessing. It's a blessing, man.
Yeah, man.
You would have
Shortcuts.
been
Talk about shortcuts.
you would have been mailing in your CD, you know what I mean? Trying to get them to throw it somewhere, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
so like right now you have a distributor, right? Where you get your
Yeah.
music out.
Well, you know what? I did have a distributor. I'm on the fence of going with TuneCore right now.
Okay.
It's a good thing you brought that up, bro. I didn't mean to take us to a rabbit hole, but I did have a distributor, but then I got tired of the way they were paying me, bro. I hit over like 3 million views.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And they wanted to pay me like chump change. And I was like, man, I can do way better than this
Yeah. Yeah.
on my own. And that's when I started piecing up equipment for merchandise. You know what I mean? Like you get the cry cut machine, the vinyl, and you start to learn things that way.
Right.
And you start to learn that you can do this on your own without them, and you actually can make more if you put your foot forward.
Yeah.
But I don't really trust the distribution side. What do you think about the distributions?
Man, so I'm glad you asked because I was gonna ask you. I'm like, what do you think? I'm sure you heard of what Spotify is doing.
Yeah,
Spotify up the rates on the customers, and then for the artists, they are actually paying them less. So, if your streams get out there and you're making a ton, you could probably hit, I don't know, 10,000 views and get like one penny. You know what I mean?
yeah. See, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I took the steps that I'm like I'm having some trouble right now because I was like I don't think I want to be on Spotify anymore. You know,
Right.
the main place that is paying the most is YouTube. YouTube is actually paying top dollar, but it's difficult because until YouTube comes out with a way for people to play the music without having to have their screen open,
Right.
Spotify or Pandora or any of those, it's difficult for people to just sit there with videos, you know?
Hmm. I agree, and then that brings you to a question. Like a lot of people think differently. You know what I mean? Like, are you even a real artist if you ain't on all platforms? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are you even pushing the limit? Are you trying? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's kind of goes left and right.
Yep. And then and the crazy part is, so it's almost like Spotify, for example, figured out, um, if we keep promoting and we keep telling our friends or family and their friends, whatever, and it just that whole network happens,
Hmm.
the streams are what pay you. But you actually
Right.
have to pay, and I don't think a lot of people realize that you actually have to pay a fee to get your music on a lot of these um, platforms through a distributor. You know what I mean? So I think that point, like I'm sure with you, just getting your equipment together, and getting the distribution, I'm sure you've ran into the thing where you've had to pay too. It hasn't been free for you.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. They
So
do take a portion out there. I mean, the most I can say I ever made in a year off of my music is probably about 120 bucks, bro.
yep,
And that was off millions of plays, like but that took a lot,
yeah, yeah,
and I
yep,
didn't like that at all because I was in need of new speakers. Damn
yeah. Yeah, that
it.
was my whole idea. And, that was one of the ways that I promoted. I'm like, listen, guys, I'm not looking, this isn't a pyramid scheme. Okay. If you know, go check out my music. If you like it, share it, do this and that. And I put it out there. I'm like, hey, whatever I make from this, it's going right back so that I can improve.
Right.
I want to keep building and improving and stuff like that. And I
Mhm.
think that helped. But yeah, there was just that whole issue with some of the streaming sites, man. They started cutting back, and I think they realized, hold on a second, we're going to have to pay these people, and we're not going to, reap the benefits of the profit that we really want, and that greed set in. So now, what turned out to be a blessing for a while, um, ended up turning into another struggle.
Mm. That's right. And then you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking the 90s is going to come back to 2024 and above. Like we might go back to slanging out the trunk and,
Yep.
pushing merchandise that way
Yeah.
as an independent artist. Because as I say, the past is going to repeat itself and things will happen.
Yeah.
Like for example, the music right now, I think it's making its way back to a 90s style type of sound. Like
Yeah.
it went from that to, the music now that you hear, the shooting them up and all that stuff. Yeah, and now it's becoming more boom bap ish, more lo-fi ish, and I could hear it transferring over.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's great, because that's kind of what we grew up on. And I think
Right.
maybe the newer generation is starting to see, hey, this wasn't the route that um, we need to be on right now, because
Yeah,
it
and
wasn't like that before.
that's right. And hopefully that'll put us ahead of the curve once it happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm seeing or I'm recognizing.
Because it's like Juice World came out, and Juice World was talking about problems too. You know what I mean? But he was
Yeah.
doing it in a new wave style, and people latched onto it. Well, after he passed away, then the next thing you know, everybody wanted to copy his style, but they didn't have the words or
Hmm.
any of that stuff, and it actually contributed because they used it to more uh, create more violence, basically, and that's how a lot of them we started seeing I don't know how many artists over the past 5 years getting murdered because of it.
Man, I think the most recent one I heard of was Julio Fulio. I think rest in peace to that guy.
Yeah. So it's crazy, and that's how important music is. It does
Yeah,
create an impact on society, and I don't think people understand the gravity of that, you know. So music
yeah,
is important, and if we have a bigger variety of stuff that we can listen to and enjoy, and that starts to decrease and it goes the wrong direction,
hmm,
society in a whole is going to be lost. Honestly,
I agree with you.
yeah. So, um, there was something else I wanted to ask you. So I know you're getting into, you're doing your thing with music. You obviously, you got some future plans. Where do you see yourself in like 5 to 10 years? Like, I, I know you have to
Yeah,
have some idea. Like, there's some dreams. Like, sometimes you sit there, you're listening to your
yeah.
own music, somebody else, and you're like, yeah, this is where I want to be later. This is where I envision myself. What is
Yeah,
that?
I actually got it pictured out, bro. Like, okay, so over the years, like I said, everything aligns for a reason.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of times I think I tend to track people, people who have a lot of hard problems, and they find their way learning about music through me. Like, I'm saying, for example, some of my primos, some of their homies, people who are getting out of prison, people who are, just stuck in trouble. But music is a relatable thing that I can talk about and they can talk about, and we'll be able to connect that way. So I think I want to go to the route of teaching people about music and how to create and how to do this and that. In order to have that outlet for themselves, because it looks like they really want it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I've been I've been to the point where I've actually talked about it with my peoples about being a music counselor or whatever at the halfway house or at the freaking when you get out of prison you go to the
yeah,
place where you wait to transfer out, New Freedom, whatever.
right.
And so it got me interested, bro, because I started to connect with people. I learned that people want to learn about this type of shit, and excuse my language. And then yeah, bro, it just got me wanting to teach people. And then right now, I'm also helping some artists. I won't say no names, but I'm helping some artists too, develop some skills and things of that nature. And to me, that's satisfying, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not really trying to get nothing out of nothing. I'm trying to learn and grow and teach and let you learn from what I experience. And hopefully, my trials and tribulations will help you overcome your trials and tribulations.
right.
And that's what I see overall versus trying to make money versus trying to get fans and people to like me and things of that nature. Because I think you're gonna feel me either way because I'm gonna be genuine with everything I do. But at the same time, I think I see myself teaching music 5 years from now, and I'm not talking about at high school or elementary school.
You don't want to teach about, treble clefs and
No, no, I ain't gonna be blowing no flutes. Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. But yeah, bro, I actually want to go to college this year for music. So I'm in the process of enrolling in the next semester in August, I think. So a lot of big things I'm trying to do right now.
how can you read music?
I can't, bro. See,
You
that's
can't
another thing.
either. Okay, okay, I'm not the only one then.
Yeah, I can't read music. They tell me all the time, count forward, come in on forward count or whatever. Like, I don't know,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm like, what's that? What's that mean?
I act like I know. They're like, yeah, good.
Are
All
we
right.
are we on B minor? I'm like, where's that at?
Bro, that's
I'll-
funny you mentioned that. I just went down a rabbit hole learning about pitches. Salute to Daz and RG if y'all watching this, because we're learning about pitching right now. We're mixing up a track and we're having a hard time finding the correct pitch to match the beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm in the process of finding the good detuners, possibly even an auto tuner. But we did figure it out today. Thank God we figured it out today. But we've been working on it for a while.
right, right. And that's some of the problems that, an artist can run into. It's not
Right.
really just slapping things together immediately and then the song's done. This could take
That's right.
days. It could take months. You know what I mean? Like I've been trying to finish this album for, I don't know. I think I started in like January.
Yeah, it happens, man. But you can't rush perfection. That's the main thing. You know what I mean?
No. and you don't know what's going to come of it. The more time you put in it, I think that's that's something I told a couple guys now. I'm like, the most valuable thing you could put into anything is your time.
Right.
It's so valuable because you can't get it back. Money you
Yeah.
can't get back. You know what I mean?
So true, bro.
Yeah.
So true.
So yeah, but I'm sure some of the people want to know, um, what's your faith like, like I know, you and I have, shared some messages between each other quite a few times. This is actually the first time we're talking on a video chat. Normally
Yeah.
we
Right.
message, we send voicemails, emails.
Yeah.
That's how we typically work. But this is first time we're like seeing each other face to face. But
Hmm.
what's I know you believe in God, but like how's that been for you? What's your
Um.
ideas?
Yeah. I mean, I believe in God, of course. I was raised off of going to church and things of that nature. Um. I find myself. I mean, if you really want to know, I'll take you down to everything, man. But I mean, I find myself to be. I don't really go to church that much lately, not because I don't like to or anything of that nature. I just grew up in a certain way where like it was more forced than it was with going to learn this way, or more it felt more like a cult type of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So I ended up just believing in the Bible and being non-denominational. So I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ died, rose on the third day, all that stuff. I'm just non-denominational. I don't claim nothing just for the fact where I believe that causes more division amongst people versus bringing them together. But definitely, I read the Bible and things of that nature.
okay, that's good. That's good. Staying in
Yeah.
is one of the healthiest things you could do because you're still learning. As long as you're being fed, that part is important.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. Like you gotta be hungry for that type of stuff too. And I ain't gonna lie, I've been going through a lot of things lately. I'm currently on some court cases, some classes, things of that nature. Just to keep it 100 with you and the audience who's watching and stuff like that. But I don't ever think of life turmoils or traumas as why God, why you do this to me?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I see it as, and I was taught and know that it's all gonna be okay at the end. You know what I mean?
right, right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I was in the same place. It took for my boss actually where I work to start inviting me, and I was in the same exact place as you. I was
Yeah.
forced to go to church as a kid, and it was a Baptist church, um, and that was my issue. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's just I learned that you have to find your home. You know what I mean? Like your home base. Um, because not every church has the proper message. They might not be preaching the word correctly. You know what I mean? There
Yeah.
might be disinformation in there. There's so many things because what I've been learning right now is that the enemy attacks. You know what I mean? The devil attacks. Um, you might. That's what leads people to start questioning God is when the devil attacks you and starts putting problems in your life. Um, he's trying to get you to move away from him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think conversation with God is important, so prayer, and feeding yourself with the word, learning as much as you possibly can, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right. You're right.
so there's yeah, I mean, obviously in your situations you probably have prayed pretty heavily, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have, bro, in the jail cell.
Nobody
No, but you're
nobody
right.
prays harder than a man, like get me out of here.
No, that's facts, dude. But yeah, bro, I believe in God, and I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people do need to talk about their faith versus just living in the world doing nothing. Like, you got to know where you're going. You got to know what you're doing. I mean, it's not an easy topic to talk about. It's not like you could say, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to heaven," and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to heaven."
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's tough, man. 'Cause there's people in church that aren't even going to go to heaven. That's something I learned, and I'm like, oh man, I'm far from it. You know,
yeah,
and the main thing is that you're not supposed to play dress up. You don't have
yeah,
to play dress up. You shouldn't. You already
never.
did something wrong when you play dress up and then go to church because what are you learning? You know what I'm saying? So the important thing is be yourself. Uh, It's like my pastor gave a sermon one day where he was talking about there was some people he ran into outside of church, obviously, and one of them
Yeah.
was talking and they started cursing and slipped the
Oh
curse
man.
words and they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he's like, "Oh, my virgin ears," you know what I mean? He was like, "You don't have to apologize to me. I can't do nothing about you cursing, and I'm not telling you to stop, and I can't,
Yeah,
if I condemn you, I condemn myself." He's just like, "That's between you and God. When he's
man.
ready for you to make those changes, he's gonna push you to make those changes. That's what conviction is. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it's just like I tell people that right now. You know what I mean? It's just like I used to think that way. When I was growing up and I was forced to go to church, there was a lot of perfect people, and to tell you,
Hmm.
that's what pushed me away. Because, growing up, we had this idea like rich people. My mom, she used to do this thing. She's gonna yell at me for saying this.
Yeah.
But we used to see rich people because we grew up in Chicago, and then she would always say, "Oh, it's those type of people." You know what I mean? And she would lift up her nose, and I was like, "Ah." So it felt that way every time, going to church. Like you couldn't dress a certain way. Your clothes had to be ironed, cleaned. You couldn't do
Right.
anything. You had to be perfect when you walked in. And I'm like, this doesn't seem right.
Right.
I feel like a hypocrite walking in because when I leave here, my mom's gonna whoop me. You know,
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think they say come your Sunday's best or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, not too certain, but I get what you're saying though. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's crazy that kind of stuff happens. But
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, perfect imperfections, though. You know what I mean? Perfect imperfections. That's what we all are.
yeah, yeah. No, that's pretty good. So what else has been going on with you music wise? Like obviously right now you got the classes going. You have the I'm sure your schedule is like packed.
Man, I'm all over the place, bro. Even if my homies will tell you, like, they be calling me all day and they can't even get a hold of me. But I'm just working, bro. I need to focus on dropping some more for the fans. So appreciate all y'all who are tuned in. Stay conscious, you know what I mean? We're gonna forever be dropping music, but we're just working on a new album. I find myself working more on albums and EPs now versus singles because I want you to get a whole picture of what I'm discussing versus pieces. Like, you know what I mean? I
Okay.
like to paint pictures.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good idea.
Hmm.
I know you like to paint pictures
Right.
physically.
Yeah, that too. Actually, I got one I could show you guys. Look, this one's from my primo. He made this right here, fresh out. This was for a track I did with Open Mind. Salute Open Mind. This was made by the primo Dank DeSico, aka Angel. The things we do. Here we go with the heart, and then you got the gears because the heart, everything's in motion, and it describes the things we do.
That's
You should that'd be a good song to play. Are you able to play songs or
not on here, but uh,
okay?
I'm pretty sure once I get it on there and I do some editing, I could actually cut us out and give us a little break, play some of the music, and then jump right back into it.
That'll be dope. That'll be
It's a good
dope. Yeah,
time.
I mean, if you're watching, check me out on YouTube. The things we do. Hey, Gordo Sanchez, Open Mind. Salute to you, Open Mind out there working hard in the Big AZ. Hey, that man's dropping hard work albums too. I do recommend an interview with him if you're looking for another artist. That's your guy.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So, uh, have you looked at like what's your biggest area that's you're getting listens from, streams? Because sometimes I don't know,
Most.
depending on your platform, they might tell you like, oh, this
Mhm.
certain region is hitting and this certain one is not. Because when I had Charlie Haley on here, he was discussing that, and I think that's an important topic to bring up because if you got
Yeah.
future events and there's a possibility you could plan for something in your future, um, wh-
Mhm.
what's the area you think you could potentially hit for like doing a show at some point?
Oh man, I would love to travel back to California. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
And as far as my music goes, we're heavy on YouTube more than anything right now. YouTube more than anything, as we did pull back from the digital platforms there, or or whatever distributions. But yeah, hands-on merch, online merchandise, and then also YouTube, bro. That's where you can find me at mostly right now until we get to a new home. But that's where we're at, bro. It's doing all right. Even with all the changes going on, it's doing okay. Everybody's still around. Just got to pick back up on the pace and drop some new heat. So stay tuned. Everybody out there, stay tuned, and we're coming.
And you handle all your own merch, right? You print
I
and
handle it, bro.
you ship and you do everything.
I do everything. I like wear many hats. I try to learn as much as I can so I can pass on that knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Really good idea. Yeah, that's what we've been doing. And it's been a process, man. So I don't want you putting it out there, but like
Yeah.
everybody's process is different. We actually had to go through, I don't know, quite a few different materials,
Mm,
inks, vinyls, whatever, just to see if
yeah.
it was going to work because it's tough. A lot of those companies, if you order shirts through them and try to send them out, that they print them out, they got their situation down, but now you got to pay more money just because they're doing it for you. So
Right.
it's actually another art form to figure out how to print your own shirts so that it would last for the people that are going to be getting it. You know what I mean?
That's right, bro. It
Like,
takes trial and error. A lot of trial and error.
yeah, like I know you got yours down and stuff. I got, yeah, I got mine, and I'm like, all right, he's got it good. He got it. He figured it out.
Yeah. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
Because we were actually trying to experiment with different stuff. Like
Mhm.
give them more. Let's give them like so that they can have something that's gonna last a long time.
Yeah, options is always good, bro. Options is always good.
And I would tell people right now. So like there are some types, just to save people trouble. There are some types of sublimation printing that you do not want to do because
Right.
if you wash it a few times, it's gonna come right out.
That's right.
And that's just after probably 5 washes, and next thing you know, it's faded.
Man, I hate that stuff, bro. I hate that.
Yeah, there's
I
some
hate
types,
that.
man, and we invested. We've got a printer and everything that it's a what do you call those? You can fill the tanks of ink and everything in them. We
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what's up.
Tax time is probably the best time to invest in your stuff, and get
Yeah.
new things. And that's what we did. We got the printer, we got the ink and everything, and then we're sitting there like it's fading. Now we got to try a different kind of ink. We got to do this. We got to do that, and it's the process. It sucks.
Yeah, you'll get there though, man. That's the process of creating a business and an LLC. Sounds like you're on your way there, bro.
Yeah, that's the plan. I even doing this podcast right now. Because my whole thing was I want to be able to offer as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's not. I'm just gonna say it. It's to stomp on the industry. You know what I mean? Because I do not like how they are treating artists. Like you
Right.
specifically one of them. You got talent. You know what I mean? You have a lot of talent. That's obviously why I've called you to do quite a few tracks with me, and they turn out pretty phenomenal. You know what I mean? And I'm
Appreciate
like,
that.
there's a lot of artists out there like that they don't have a chance because of the industry,
Hmm.
or people that are already halfway there, or almost, or pretty much made it, even if they're indie artists, and they're like, you're too small for me.
That's where the doorkeepers come in. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm like, you know what? All them people that you stepped on and walked around, I'm gonna scoop them up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's where
And
the thinking process changes, man.
yeah, yeah, because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to do any of it. So, do you advertise outside of social media?
Oh yeah, yeah, bro. I print out flyers. I take them to my smoke shop. I even promote my CDs, pass them out every once in a while. If I'm out Grubhub or Door Dashing or trying to make side money, I'll drop a flyer in the bag. Like, you know what I mean? I'm always
Okay,
putting my YouTube.
that's a good idea.
Man, tell me about it.
Man,
You can
working
do
and
five
doing
thousand
both
flyers in a month.
while on the job. Like, hold on a second, let me just drop this in here.
That's right. That's how I do it, bro.
That's smart. That's dope. Yeah, because I liked when I got the package from your merch.
Hey,
There was actually some nostalgia in there for me.
Yes, sir.
Growing up, I used to collect homies
Oh, okay,
in the
okay.
quarter machines. Okay, so I got the little sticker slipped out, and I'm like, wait a minute. I used to collect these, man. That's pretty dope, that I got that. I have a wall here. Um, I have a wall in the studio dedicated to any artist that I work with,
Hey, that's
friends with. So like, you're on there. I got Gone. Everybody knows Gone.
mm,
So I got him on there when I met up with him and stuff like that. My hopes are to fill that wall. So like that homie sticker and all that stuff that came in your package, it's on the wall.
that's dope, bro. Appreciate that. Appreciate you.
Because anybody, I mean, once I'm completely done with remodeling and stuff like that, um, the hopes is to get artists to come down here and record, hang out. Like I'm on the couch down here now, but um,
Hmm.
the hopes is to do that. So every time they come through there, um, they could be looking for a specific artist. Somebody could be looking for
Right.
their style, and they're gonna go to that wall, see it, like, oh, you did work with this person. What's their music like? They might ask questions, and I'm like, oh, I got it right here. Listen
That's
to it,
right.
and that's what's gonna get them to see, other faces. It's another way of networking, the old school way. If you ever been to like a grocery store and they got those caulk boards and everybody throws their flyers on it,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
business cards, you know what I mean? Their for
Old
rent
school.
signs, pull the ticket with the phone number.
Yeah.
It's Why not? You know what I'm saying? So that'd be a whole wall. It's like a giant cork board. All that stuff's on there. People are gonna see it, you know?
That's gonna be amazing. That's a good idea though too. to
And
rip a number.
Chicago's notorious for it, man. You could walk into any liquor store, laundromat.
That's where you're at right now, huh? You're in Chicago right now.
No, I left the city. I left the city.
Okay.
I'm out in Rochelle, Illinois now. So I moved to
Illinois.
actually probably 2 hours west of Chicago. It just Chicago got from when I was there to how it is now.
Right.
It just got worse. It got worse. It was already bad when I was there. But the difference is it was organized crime and this is
Mm.
chaotic crime. You know what I mean?
Man, yeah, people dropping everywhere. I know it's crazy.
Yeah. So you couldn't turn the corner without the problems, seeing something going on. And,
Yeah, that's horrible.
and my mom, she was still living out there. So I've been out of the city for probably about 10, 12 years now. And
Wow.
mom, my brothers, they were all still out there. My family is still out there. And I would go visit, and I'm like, man, you guys got to leave. Like this isn't
Yeah,
working.
not safe, right?
I finally got, my mom to move. And so she actually lives like 2 minutes from me now, and she loves it. I said there's life outside the city.
Right.
And that's how I was. I didn't know anything outside the city limits at all. I didn't understand that. I thought it was the same. And maybe it was the same everywhere. But as soon as
Yeah,
I
right.
left the city, I'm like, man, my life could be better. What?
That's crazy. Yeah, I never left my city either, man. I haven't moved out of my city, I should say.
Yeah. I don't know. The opportunity opened up. And then
That's good.
so, obviously over there you got counties, we got counties too. So in Chicago, it's Cook County. All right. When I
Mm.
left Cook County, I moved into Kane County, which is funny because there was a joke between that. There's a borderline between Cook and Kane, and people used to call it Cook Kane.
Oh, cocaine.
So, and I'm like, man, this can't be any better if they got that joke. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
So I left the city and I moved to Kane County, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. And then people had the jokes, and there was routes that they used to meet at the borderline, and people used to buy cocaine from cocaine. Like, man, what did I do? I just left and no.
That's funny.
So no, after I got out there and I experienced life, it took me, I want honestly say about 5 years to adjust.
Wow.
A little bit, maybe a little bit, just to adjust a little bit. And then it took for me to move to out of Kane County into another county, DeKalb County. and I got pulled over by the sheriff's department. Now I'm not used to in the cities. The sheriffs are not a big thing. The city
Right.
are. Out here, a lot of the sheriffs are the big thing. They're like top dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. They running shit.
Yeah, yeah. So when I got pulled over by the sheriff, I had a hat on, I had it cocked to the right. I'm bumping my I'm bumping some music, windows are halfway down. I'm cruising. I was speeding. I think I was doing the like 5 over the speed limit.
Man.
5 over, that's it. And I was a DJ at the time, and I was supposed to be meeting with some friends that we were gonna head over to Iowa City to go DJ at a nightclub.
That's tight.
And I'm like, I gotta hurry up to go. And so I sped to the gas station because I needed gas. I was about to run out, and I'm like, man, I need to hurry up. So I'm driving. The cop is going the opposite way of me, and I'm looking in my rear view. We made eye contact as we're passing.
Oh man.
That's a big
That's the
mistake.
worst.
And I look in my rear view, and I'm pulling into the gas station. I see him do a U-turn. I pulled at the pump, and all of a sudden the lights are on behind me, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. So
That's great.
in the city, everybody hated the cops. You know what I mean? So that mentality stuck with me. So when I got there, I sat there and I was like, all right, just whatever he asks, just do it. So I sit there. He's like, you got your license and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. I gave it to him and everything. He's like, all right, so where you headed? And I'm like, oh, I'm just getting gas. I'm on my way to meet with some friends. I'm headed to Iowa City. He's like, oh, okay, well, where are you coming from? You live around here? And I'm like, oh man, this guy's getting invasive. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I came from home. He's like, okay, where's home? And I'm like, oh, down the road. He's like, okay. It's like it didn't register.
Yeah.
And I was, of course, talking ghetto before. I honestly, I didn't talk proper at all. It took me a while to even talk like this. Okay. And it's only when I get mad does it come out. But it's natural. You know what I mean? But um, it took for him to look at my license. And when he looked at my license, and people don't think that this happens to us, but
Right.
especially Hispanics, but like he looked at my license, looked at me, looked at my license again, and he goes, you live around here?
Oh man, his racial profile you?
It was immediate, just like that. And I was like, yeah, I live over here. I was like, I've been here like a year now, you know?
Man.
And he's just like, okay, well, you just sit tight. Let me go running. He runs it. And I had gotten pulled over for no insurance at one point,
Mhm.
and I had to get an SR22 for it. So um, something happened that the state and the insurance company didn't communicate, so it came up as a suspended license. So he ran to me, to my door, popped it open. He's like, "Get out of the car!" And I'm like, "What I
Oh
do?"
no.
So I got out of the car. He, put me in handcuffs, and he's just like, "Just don't move." And I'm like, "All right, you're good, you're good." So he put me in handcuffs, and I was cooperative. So he ended up saying, "You know what? You're being really cooperative. You're being cool and everything." And I apologize. It's just sometimes we run into these problems, you know. So he ended up
Yeah.
being real cool. He gave me my my phone back, and he's like, "Listen, I don't know what the situation is of why they ran into an issue and put it up as suspended." He's like, "Obviously, you were just as confused as anything to even find out that that's a problem." He's like, "Do you want to call somebody to come and get your car so I don't have to tow it? I'll let you get somebody to pick up your car.
Right.
That way, this doesn't cause you any more problems and stuff." He's like, you really been cooperative, so it ended up being a good thing. But after all of that, and everything got fixed, they returned my bail money and all that stuff. And yeah, it was crazy. Um, I realized I was just like, man, I moved, and what was okay in the city was not okay out here. You know
Right.
what I mean? So at that moment, I was like, I gotta straighten up.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you.
I got to straighten up. And you know what? As soon as I straightened up and everything, and I actually I went on YouTube and I brushed up on vocabulary. I brushed up on everything.
Oh wow, okay.
And then it started opening doors. They started opening because I was like, dog this, dog that, nah, you know what I'm saying, and all that. I was doing everything, and I'm serious. And I'm out here in like the countryside, and they're looking at me like, who's this? What? Where he came from? And yeah, so it was an experience, man. And I realized I'm like, it's just not the same everywhere. It isn't. But
so true, bro.
I didn't know that because I was growing up in the city, you know.
Yeah, especially with politics. I mean, politics is different everywhere too.
But it does give you a perspective, even with music, man. There's a lot of rap fans out in the burbs. There's a lot of rap fans out in the countryside. They're everywhere, and the main thing we want to touch is our city where we grew up.
Right.
You know, so a word to the wise is venture out. Venture out, even if it's like a countryside or something, and there's an opportunity for you to probably perform there. I do it, because if Dr. Dre showed up in the countryside, they would embrace him, even if he's a rapper.
Yeah, right.
Because they know his music.
And they love him all the way out in China too, like all over the world. That's crazy.
And so it took for me to, you know, get rid of some of my own ignorance to realize that. And then I think that's when the doors started to really open, you know? So I think that's a huge piece of advice that I could pass to like a lot of other artists right now. You know,
that's a good advice right there too, though. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because and then the other thing is like your closer people. A lot of your closer people are gonna let you down.
Yeah.
You and I didn't know nothing about each other, man. We ran into each other on one of those review shows.
Bro, yeah, it was the Freak Von Workham track too. It was Save Me.
Yeah. We ran into each other on a review show. We started, you know, networking, talking and stuff, messaging, and then next thing you know, we were doing a track together. So strangers are actually going to be very beneficial to you.
Yes, sir. That's 100% facts. Realist thing. I mean, especially when it comes to music. If you are listening and you're out there learning and watching this, hey, learn how to venture and learn how to find. Learn how to believe in yourself. Most importantly.
Yeah. You're your worst. You're your worst
enemy. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had for you, question wise. And I mean, is there anything else you want to, you know, say to anybody or anything?
I mean, shout out to all the homies out there watching. Shout out to everybody that works with the Gordo Sanchez and the Gordoverse. Hey, salute to the homie CG Jones, currently locked up right now. Definitely dropping some dope tracks. We do got some songs in the works. We got Jojo Garcia in the works as well with some new heat. Again, my primo Dank with some new heat. We got so many things happening. Just stay tuned with the Gordoverse. It's a Gordoverse for a reason. But definitely, hey, stay tuned and keep posted with me. Follow me on YouTube, Gordo Sanchez. Type in Gordo Sanchez on YouTube, and you'll get right to me, bro.
Yep. All right. And I will have some links at the bottom of the video so you guys can go and check out his music, check out his channel. And that's pretty much it. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you, Gordo, for joining us as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me, bro.
Yep.
Determined to go make a statement, raise and recognize like a man can escape the changes. Learning more to define for the heard unspoken, undevoted.